Well, hello everyone, and a very, very happy new year to you all. I hope you're settling well into 2022 so far. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this year is going to be a little less crazy than the last 2 years. What I wanted to do today is do a very quick video on a piece of software that I've been using for the past sort of 3 to 6 months or so, and that is Go Thru. And some of you may have already heard of Go Thru. What I use it for is I use it to publish my clients' tours to their Google business account. Previously, as many of you know, I've been an avid 3D Vista user for years and years and years, and I always will be for my custom tours, that go onto my clients' websites. Obviously, because it gives you tons and tons of customization in order to do so. I will put a link to the video up here. And so if you haven't heard of 3D Vista, you can have a quick look at that if you're interested in sort of custom virtual tour creation. But for Go Thru, I found it so far to be absolutely amazing for publishing to Google Street View. You can do that in 3D Vista. However, I've noticed that there's a couple of issues with it. It's maybe something that they're going to add an update for soon. But you can't publish to multiple levels. So if you wanted to do, ground floor, floor 1, floor 2, you're not able to do that. And also I noticed that the navigation arrows were taking a long time to actually pull through to Google. And sometimes they wouldn't pull through at all. So I had to depublish a tour and then republish it again. However, with Go Thru, as soon as it's published, it takes probably about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on the size of the tour, of course. To publish, and then as soon as it's ready and live on Google, you get an email from them to say that it's ready to go. So I just wanted to share this with you guys and give you an idea of what it's like. So without further ado, let's have a quick look. Okay, so here we are on the Go Thru dashboard, and first of all what you can see is I'm logged in the top right hand corner here. In order to log in, all you need is a Google account. I don't think you need to be a Google Street View trusted photographer. I think that program has stopped now. I'm not sure whether it's forever or just temporarily. But to be fair, over the 6 years I've been a trusted photographer, I think I've received 3 phone calls from people. So it's not really going to get you any extra business in anyway. It is good to have the Google trusted sort of photographer logo on your website because it just builds a bit more trust in your brand. However, it's not necessary to have it. So all you do is just log in with your Google account, and what that will do is it will enable you to upload your 360 images to another business's Google business page. The first step that I take is outside Go Thru, and that is to resize my images because the images that I take are quite big. They generally tend to be between 16 and 17,000 pixels in width, which is too large for Go Thru. I think it needs to be 14,000 pixels. So what I do is, I'm just going to open up Photoshop, is if I click on File and then come down to Automate and then Batch, what I've done is I've basically set up a batch action to basically resize all of the images. So if I come to my actions, there we go, Go Thru resize. What that will do is it will automatically resize all of my images. If you don't have Photoshop, then it's not the end of the world. You can do this in any program. It may take you a bit longer. But I've already got my folders chosen here. I'm just going to choose this one here. Just create a separate folder for the images to go into. Select that folder, and then so we've got that. We've got actions resize, and then we're ready to go. So I'm just going to click OK. And what this will do is it will basically open up each image, and then it will resize it, save it, put it in the folder, open up the next one, and keep going and going and going. There aren't too many images on here. So I can just keep chatting to you whilst these are resizing. There is one other thing that I do, and that is just in order to reduce the size of the files that are being uploaded to Google. First of all, just to save time, because I think, as far as I'm aware, these do go towards your quota for Google Drive. So, I think it's important to, keep the file sizes as low as possible, and also for loading speed as well. So what I do after that is basically take the images and drop them into this, which is JPEG Mini. So if I just go onto my other screen here, open them up, highlight them all, and then I will drag them into there and see how much it saves me. There we go. There we go. So it's just resizing all of those. There we go. 29 megabytes. Not too bad. If you haven't seen JPEG Mini Pro before, I highly, highly, highly recommend it, because it literally takes a huge amount of file size down, and it doesn't affect the quality of the images at all. So it's a very impressive piece of software. So, okay, so if I bring this over here, we've got all of our images here that have been resized. Now, what I do after that is I will basically change the file names. Okay, so I'll go from the beginning, the first shot, to the end shot, as you're sort of going through the buildings. So the first one is going to be front. So I change that to 1, and then hallway will be 2. And then living area, no, dining room is the next one, will be 3, living area 4, conservatory 5, bedroom 6, and the ensuite 7, and then garden 8. Now, the reason I do that is because if you don't do it in a numeric order, what happens when you drag them over into Go Thru, Google basically randomly chooses your starting image. Sometimes it does randomly choose the starting image, and there's not too much you can do about that, apart from maybe changing these file names around a little bit until you're happy with the first image. But yeah, I generally tend to find that this does help. So when we drag these over in a sec, we'll see if that actually works. So start creating your tour. What I do is I come up to constellations here, and then I will click on create new tour, and then it asks you what sort of tour you're creating. So the one I always use is Google Business, but as I mentioned earlier, you can do a blue line tour as well. And also you can use Go Thru for hosted tours. If you're looking for that sort of thing, maybe give it a go. But as I say, personally, I use 3D Vista for my hosted tours for my clients, just because it gives a lot more customization, I find. So let's click on start. And the next is to find the actual business name. So I've typed in the address of the business that I've done the tour for. You can normally just type the company name in and it should come up, but obviously there are multiple companies with the same names and same building names and things like that, so you may have to sort of go a little bit further and start typing the address as well. But the best way to do it is just to search on Google for it, and then you'll be able to find the name that's listed on their Google Business page. And then what we do is we click on create new tour. Okay, so the first step we want to do is we want to upload our panoramas. So it's very easy to do. You just basically select all of them and then drag them in. Okay, and you'll see here it has put them in order. So we've got number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is great. So to be honest, this is happening more and more. I mean, I've done 5 tours so far this year. And every single time I've uploaded them, it's been in order, which is great. So at least then I know exactly what the first image is going to be of the tour when people open up or click on that 360 button on the Google Business page. So we'll just wait for these to upload. And there we go. So they are now all uploaded. We click on done. And then we're presented with this screen here. Now, the next thing that I do, and please remember that this is my workflow, the way that I use Go Thru. There are many different ways you can do things, and many different buttons that I haven't looked into, but I think this will give you a good idea of how to publish the tour to the Google Business page. So if we click on Desktop Moderator, first thing I do is expand this out and then change it to satellite view. And then I will click on this little button here, because obviously this puts it into a 3D view, which I don't really like. And then we just do it from top down, because then that will give me a better idea of sort of, how to, where the images are taken from. So after that, what I tend to do is basically just spread these out a little bit, sort of guesstimate where they are in the building. So number 1 was taken at the front here-ish. Let's move all these around. There's number 2 there. So that's going to be in the reception. Okay. Excellent. Okie dokie. Right. So let's click on the first image here. And it brings up the 360 view of the image from here. Now, I work slightly differently with my 360 photos. What this line is basically for is you can basically add a second image in. And this is basically if you're taking multiple photos, one every, 2 or 3 meters, to click forwards and forwards and forwards. Personally, I can't stand that. I think it's frustrating having to navigate a tour like that. So my images are quite far apart. So from here, for example, you're going to jump straight through this wall here, straight into the reception. But I think, to be fair, the average user, or 90% of users on a Google Street View tour, really do not care. They just want to have a look around the building. That's what they've come for. They don't want to have to click hundreds and hundreds of times through hundreds and hundreds of images to have a look around, because what are they going to end up doing? They're just going to end up quitting it. And that's not what the business wants. So what I've done here is I've faced towards the front door here, and you can see here we've got an arrow that we can basically click on and drag around. So I'm just going to sort of kind of guesstimate, really. It doesn't have to be in the exact location, but we're on the drive, sort of about, let's say, here-ish. Okay, just looking towards the entrance of the door, which is, about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do from here is place number 2 there. And then if you hover over that one, you'll see this little grey dotted line will come up. If I click on that, it's going to connect those 2 images, and we'll see here that an arrow is popped up there for us. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll click on, I'm just going to move this number 5 out of the way a bit. I'm going to click on number 2, and then you need to sort of point in the direction where you've just come from. So that's over here, and then we'll take this arrow and we'll just move it to point towards the one that we've just come from. Okay, so there you go. We've got this arrow at the bottom here that's moving around as we rotate the image. Now the next one was through here, so that is number 3. I'm just going to have to move these around a little bit more. Number 3, let's just do this here. Okay, so connect that image there. Now if I click on that number 3 image and face back, the door was closed afterwards, so it's the thing when you're working in properties with people in them, you have to respect their privacy. So there we go. So we've got the image coming into here. I'm just going to face that there. I mean, you can play with this as much as you like, really, but it's for the purposes of the demonstration, I will just place them reasonably accurately. And then the next image is number 4, which is over here, and that is here. Now, if you place these dots too close to each other, you're not going to be able to click on that dotted line. So what I tend to do is put them slightly further apart, click on the line so they're connected, and then just drag it closer, like so. So that's there, and then we'll click on number 4, and then we'll rotate this around to face there, and then we want to do number 5, which is in here, and then we'll click on 5, face back in here, and you see where I'm going with this. You're basically just going through each one, and then the next one is number 6, which is the bedroom. And to be fair, I don't really put these too accurately, these ones. And the reason for that is because I haven't taken multiple photos and I don't want people to be clicking and clicking and clicking to navigate around the tour. You know, you have to kind of not guess where it is, but just point people in the right direction of where it's going to be. So if I just move this dot over, say, here, you can say the bedroom's over there, and then we'll click on number 6, which is the bedroom, and then we'll point towards the door just so people can click the arrow to get back out. And then what we'll do is we'll connect number 7, and I'll place this, and I'll just move the arrow until it's pointing towards the bathroom, like so. Okay, so that's all the images connected. You'll see there that's pointing to the bathroom here. I might move that just a tiny bit. There we go, just like that. And then the other one. There we go, excellent. Okay, so if we come back to the first one, we are ready to save all of this. So what you do is come up into the top left and then just click save. And that's all done. Then we can close out of this screen, and then they're all connected in the screen here for us. One more thing that I do is I will add my logo onto the bottom of the image. So what I will do is find my logo, and then all you basically do is just drag it into here. Wait for that to upload, and now that's in there. If you click on one of these little white dots, you can click on any one you want really. I'll probably just go in this hallway here. What it will do is it will show you the size that the logo is going to be. Now that's way too big. I don't want this to be overtaking the tour. I just want it to be really small, just on the floor, just so the logo's there but it's not obtrusive. And then we click on all and then apply. Now this can take a few seconds, so I'm going to fast forward this bit. There we go. So that's probably took about 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do. But once this is applied, basically just cross out of here and your logo will be added to the bottom of each image. So from there, basically just click on the back arrow and we are pretty much done. So, you know, if you want, you can apply blur to panoramas. So if you've got faces in there, then you can blur faces out, you can blur certain areas of the image out, and so on and so forth. You can click on preview to preview your tour, so let's click on that. There we go. So I think this is a low resolution preview. You see the logo on the floor there, and then if we just click on this arrow, there we go, that's taking us into here, and then through into here, through into there, and so on and so forth. So that's looking good. Just to go through a few of the other buttons, you've got the edit button here. So as it says there, you know, it gives you the opportunity to auto level the panoramas, which can be quite handy, especially if you're shooting on a one-shot camera and they're slightly sort of, you know, skew width, as to say. So, you know, that's another feature that you can use there. Now, one thing I didn't do on this one is to add another level. So in order to do that, what you would do if you did have multiple levels, you just come to upload panoramas and there's a little plus button here. So you just click on the plus button and then you can add floor 2. So this would be 1, then 2, then 3, but you can rename them if you wanted to. And what that would do, I think it only works on desktop when people are viewing the tour on desktop. In the actual tour itself, it puts a little thing in the corner that allows people to choose the level that they want to go on. But I don't tend to use levels because it's quite hard to find it. And what I don't want to do is for people to miss out on images. So this bedroom that we put in here is actually on the first floor. However, the only way people are going to really know that, I mean, they'll know that from viewing the image anyway. But I think it's important just to keep it all fluid. But if you wanted to add extra levels, then you certainly can. And the videos things, I don't tend to use this, but again, as you can see here, that you know you can hover over it, and it will show you exactly what it does. This one here could be quite useful, just to create a 360 video from the panoramas and upload it to YouTube or Facebook. But you can do that in 3D Vista as well, and that works very, very well. It creates a really, really high resolution sort of video that I occasionally send to my clients so they can upload it to their YouTube account. Overlay, basically what the overlay will do is it just gives you the ability to add sort of extra imagery over the tour. Now, I'm not sure if that only works on a hosted tour with Go Thru, but again, with the overlay side of things, I use 3D Vista for that sort of stuff, just because it does give you, you know, a lot more customization and branding, you know, opportunities for my clients. So I've just noticed that I have missed an image, so I'm just going to add one on, this one. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go from here. Connect this one. There we go. That's the garden one connected. There we go. So right now let's click on the Google button, and then you simply just click publish to Google Street View, start publishing. Okay, so that's now doing its job. What will happen is that once it's all finished publishing and it's ready to go, you'll get an email. As I say, for a tour of this many images, it probably takes about 15 minutes. But if you are doing a much, much bigger tour, and then obviously it can take a lot longer, but I think it's just a really nice feature that you get an email to let you know once it's all ready to go. So I hope that's been useful. As I say, you know, I've been really, really impressed with Go Thru and the features. I mean, for what I'm using it for, as you've just seen, it is quite a straightforward function, but it's reliable. That's what I love about it. It's every single time I've uploaded a tour, it's been uploaded pretty quickly, and all the navigation arrows have been there every single time, which I know quite a few people struggle with. I've seen quite a few posts in the various, you know, groups on Facebook, people saying, oh, you know, I've uploaded a tour to Google and the arrows aren't there. You know, what's going wrong? So, you know, Go Thru I normally recommend to people to try out. So yeah, I mean, if you want to have a go and sign up for Go Thru yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you could use that, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And I will speak to you again soon. Take care.